Alrighty, everybody. How are we doing on this? It's MLB free agency day. The beginning of MLB free agency is I am getting harassed by a freaking fly who I swear to God, if he lands anywhere near me, I'm going to smack the crap out of him. I'm gonna freaking hit a grand slam with him, with this fly swatter. But anyways, free agency officially starts today. We'll see if anything happens. I remember in the past, I would actually forget that MLB free agency started because it'd be so quiet. But in this stream, as you tell by the description down below, I'm going to be talking about 3 pitching candidates for the Cleveland Guardians. I was actually thinking of a scenario. So I figured I'll just group them together, make it easier. This way I'm not blowing up your mentions. And it'll also save my notifications for something that might be more important, like say Guardians rumors, because we might have some rumors coming out over the next 2 hours or so. It's been all quiet on the Guardians front. Heyman and Passan and Rosenthal's notifications turned on, so if anything pops off while I'm streaming, we'll get a notification. This is retiring. That's crazy. But anyways, let's get into talking about some baseball. So first, we're going to talk about my 3 Guardians pitching candidates. 1 starter, 1 reliever, and then I have a trade target that I know a lot of Guardians fans have been talking about on Twitter. I heard the Guardians were interested in this guy, I think, a couple years ago. I think that was that like Caleb? That was Caleb Smith. That's right. I think it was Caleb Smith or something a couple years ago. But I would love this pitcher if we traded for him. There's actually quite a few options out there for us, but we'll see what old Chris Antonetti cooks up for us. But anyways, the free agent starting pitcher that I think the Guardians could go after is the guy that we know very well, Corey Kluber. Ironic, he was the guy that we beat to get us to the ALDS. Yep. He came in late in that extra innings game, and Oscar Gonzalez sent one of his pitches to the moon. Man, I would love to bring back Corey Kluber, and I'm sure Corey would love to come back. It would be funny too because once upon a time we traded Corey to the Rangers for Emmanuel Clase and Delino DeShields. Rangers only got 1 measly inning out of him. I wouldn't mind having Corey be our number 4 or number 5 pitcher. He's solid. We wouldn't have to rely on him to be our ace. It'd be cool to see him end his career with us. Being as essentially, he took off with us. He won, 2 Cy Youngs with the Guardians, or the Indians at the time. So, will the front office even go after him? Now, in terms of our bullpen, it's very righty heavy. We do have 1 lefty, and that is Sam Hitchens. Kind of rocky, when he first got there, but this past season, my God, he looked like Andrew Miller out there. Mini Miller. He was like a Andrew Miller 2.0. He was disgusting. Now, this guy is also kind of disgusting as well, but I will say he has fantastic hair. And that guy, of course, if you couldn't guess by that hair comment, that guy is not Mike Clevenger. It's Andrew Chafin. Yeah. You have Andrew Chafin coming in like the 7th inning. If Stephan was already used or the situation doesn't call for Trevor, you bring in Chafin. He goes out there and absolutely just shoves and then hands it over to Karinchak. And then Karinchak hands it over to arguably the best closer in the major leagues, Emmanuel Clase. I know Mets fans would hear that and they'd say, no, it's Adrian Diaz. Disgusting. He is nasty. He's human. He's not going to, strike out a billion guys. He does get hit on every once in a while. But man, his stuff, when it is on, it is hard as heck to hit. I pity the hitters that try to go after that stuff. My goodness. A cutter with freaking 100-mile-per-hour cutter with movement. Damn. But yeah, you put Chafin in our bullpen. That would be nice. That would be glorious stuff to see. Now, as for my trade target, it's a starter, and it's a guy that a lot of Guardians fans have had their eyes on. Originally, I had Brandon Woodruff here, but I feel like he would cost too much. I think Pablo is attainable. They need hitters. We got that. I think they need outfielders. We got that. I would love to get Pablo into the Guardians pitching machine. To have a top four in the rotation of Bieber, McKenzie, Quantrill, Lopez, or would it be Bieber, McKenzie, Lopez, Quantrill? And then maybe you. This is, of course, based off the fact that we might get rid of Plesac. If we don't get rid of Plesac, and if we keep it, then obviously we're not going to go after a starter. We're probably just going to address the bullpen. But I would love any one of these three guys. That'd be cool. I mean, I don't know if we're going to even do anything. If we do anything regarding pitching, it's going to be bullpen. I just don't know if the Guardians are going to address the starting rotation, unless the only way I see us doing that is if they get rid of Plesac or Savale or both. Maybe they trade one, and maybe they trade them for something, for two different things, and then they address the rotation via trade, and maybe you sign a guy like Kluber. Like if we get rid of Savale, which would kind of be sad because I like Savale, I kind of consider Savale a Walmart Corey Kluber. So that'd be kind of funny. You get rid of Plesac, you bring in Kluber, and not Walmart Corey Kluber. I don't think anyone else does. It just feels like they have the same kind of vibe. They don't really talk. They're very quiet in the clubhouse, mild-mannered, and their pitches are almost exactly the same. Almost. Yeah. When they're on, but my goodness, when they aren't, it's tough. But now, yeah, I think that would be wonderful to see us look at these guys. But now let's talk about my dream offseason scenario for the Cleveland Guardians. Now, Bleacher Report did on each team, what they could be doing in the offseason. They gave each team a shopping list. And then they talked about options and pending free agents and all that stuff. Now, for the Cleveland Guardians, their shopping list is as follows. It's pretty simple, really. A catcher, stopgap to Bo Naylor, designated hitter, and a lefty reliever. So you consider all three of those positions. And the guys that I've already talked about, I think it's pretty simple to determine, the guys that I am going to be mentioning. Because they're all guys I've mentioned before. When it comes to catcher, you already know who I'm going to talk about. Christian Vasquez. Now, I go after Contreras mainly because he's arguably the best catcher on the market. He's going to be expensive. And I just don't know if we're going to do that. Then you have Mike Zunino. But he's coming on wrist. I would love to have him. But the injury. And then, of course, you have a trade target in Sean Murphy. Danny Jansen's out there, too, from the Blue Jays. I could see us visiting that. Now, watch. I'm mad, but it'd be like, wow. So we really do value defense over offense. So another year of having a black hole at catcher. Nice. Can't wait to make a video on him being re-signed and be like, well, guys, so much for not having a black hole at catcher. But if we go after Wilson Contreras, then we are really shifting our focus towards hitting instead of defense. We'll see how our strategy changes being as those rules being changed. No shift. Now, when it comes to designated hitter, there's a couple options out there, of course. But, of course, the guy that I would love to see us get, and a guy that I've actually seen linked to us in articles that I've read, JD Martinez. Again, you bring in JD Martinez, and you just hope that, the bat has a rejuvenation in Cleveland. I know he wouldn't have the monster in left field, and he wouldn't have those hilariously short walls and right. But it's not like he's playing in Comerica, you know. I mean, he would have to play in Comerica. Not as often now because, again, the schedule has been changed around to where we don't face our divisional rivals 19 times. In fact, we'll be facing every team. At least, I think, twice this year. Every team. Every team in the majors. Just like in the NBA. Should be interesting to see how that goes. Which means we're going to have to play in some pretty crazy ballparks again. As always. Especially in the NL. Have to face some pretty good teams like the Dodgers again. The Giants again. Have to... Yeah, I would love to see JD come to the Guardians. You know. But again, it depends on price, like I said earlier. And then lefty reliever, you already know who I'm going to mention. I literally just talked about him, Andrew Chafin. These are the three guys that I think we could go after based off of that article. I think Vasquez would be a perfect stopgap for Bo. You know, and then you... Imagine we go after all three of these guys and we get them. You'd have a lineup, probably like, you know, you'd have... Let me think here. You'd have Quan, Ahmed if we keep him, Jose. You'd have to figure JD would be in the 4th slot. Then you'd probably have like Jimenez, probably Naylor at first, most likely. And then you would have, I'm trying to think here, go through the line. And you'd have... The 9-hole would probably be Straw still. The 8-hole, I don't even know who that would be. You know what? I'm going to do something real quick. Let me look up the lineup that we've had. Hang on. Let me do this real quick. Sorry, guys. I have to, you know, vert away a little bit here. But, okay. I'm going to guess you would probably have JD Martinez at DH batting cleanup. Then you'd have Oscar and right. You would have probably Naylor at first. I'd put Naylor after Martinez. And then Oscar after Naylor. Then you'd have Jimenez. And then you'd probably have Vasquez and then Straw. Most likely around there. It'd be something along that line. But obviously, if you follow me on here and if you watch my... Jose Abreu would be the guy I would love to have. Definitely. Because that would allow Josh Naylor to play DH. You know, get some time off his feet. But if we go after JD Martinez, then I don't know how they're going to do that. I'm sure Tito would figure out something. I don't think we're going to go after a lot of these guys, but I would love these three. But we'll see what they do. I mean, I want to think that we're going to make some moves. But considering we're talking about the Dolans, and they just do not like to spend money, like I feel like they break out in hives when they have to spend. But maybe with the Blitzer money coming in, maybe they get a little bit of, you know, maybe they want to spend a little bit. Not saying they have to have one of the top payrolls in the league. If I had to name a pair in the $60 million range after all these, you know, other once arbitration deals come out, because right now we're spending so far, it's literally three guys: Jose, Straw, and Clase. Those are the only three guys that are guaranteed. I predict by the end of it, we're probably going to be like in the $60 million range. If there was an area that I would love to be in, I'm going to say even get into the 100s. That would be lovely. In fact, let me see if I can find out where we were in the World Series. Of course it won't go that far. Of course it won't. Gotta be a member. What it is. Not gonna get too pissed if we don't do anything. I'm just gonna be here like, well, saw this get hyped up because they never do anything. You know, my other teams, they've been known to spend money. Of course, the Cavaliers went out and made one of the biggest trades of the offseason, getting Spida. The Browns made a trade for Deshaun Watson. They went out and spent a little bit of money. I think they didn't spend a whole lot like I thought they would because they figured they're not going to, go nuts when it comes to spending when their star quarterback isn't even playing yet. I feel like next year is the year that they're really going to go crazy. They're going to arm this team to the teeth to help Deshaun out. So, Guardians, maybe they could follow in the footsteps of the Cavs a little bit. Spend some money, get the fan. I haven't really been supremely excited, because the team hasn't done a damn thing to instill excitement into this fan base. But coming off a low-key decent playoff run, making it to the ALDS, taking the Yankees to 5 games with the payroll that we had, the fact that we had 17 debuts, a guy like Martinez or Vasquez or Chafin, something like that. That'd be cool. But I don't want to, get too. Maybe Blitzer's money is in the bank account and they want to get frisky and they start spending a little bit. That would be lovely. But yeah, what's going on, Ashton? I know you're not in the chat anymore, but what's going on? Not going to be live much longer. But like always, I've said before, and I'll say it again. If the Guardians are in any rumors, I'll make a video on the rumor if it's a good one. If it's like, if I see a tweet saying the Guardians are amongst teams interested in Jose Abreu or JD Martinez or something like that, I'll make a video on it. We'll talk about it. And then hopefully we can pull the trigger. Because one thing that has me feeling good is that the Guardians at least tried last year to get Matt Olson and Jesse Winker. And I guess they even talked to Carlos Rodon's agent. Even though there was no chance we were getting him because he wanted far too much. I'm pretty sure that freaking convo went like this. Okay, so here's I'm Antonetti talking to his agent. On the phone. And then I'd be like, okay. Sits here like, hey, insert Rodon's agent name here. So, what's the price range on Mr. Rodon? And then he probably mentioned something like 30, 40 million, something like that. Whatever he got. Oh, okay. So checked in. Guardians are interested. But then when it comes down to it, the Guardians are going to do diddly squat. Bills listed. QB Allen did not practice. Oh, that's tough. If he doesn't play, that's going to be tough. Because then it would be so funny when he comes back against us. That's what will happen. He won't play this week, but he'll play next week. Because it's the Browns he's facing. Personally, I wouldn't play him against us because there's a chance that Myles Garrett just absolutely wrecks him and injures his arm even more. Alright, but I'm going to wrap this up. I've gone over 20 minutes. That's genuinely how long my videos go now. So let me know what you guys think the Guardians are going to do in the offseason. Personally, I'm not going to get my hopes up like I said before. If they do something that's video worthy, I'll make a video on it. If they sign a good player to a minor league deal, I'll make a video on it. But if they sign somebody that I've never heard of, I'm not going to waste my time. I might mention it like in another video, but I'm not going to waste it on it. I'm not that desperate for content to where I would make a video if we sign some guy from the minor leagues. Oh my God, guys, we just signed this guy to a minor league deal. I look at his freaking, baseball reference page and it doesn't have a dang thing on it. Dude probably would never even see the freaking light of day. Kind of like Colin Cowgill. Remember that guy? Colin Cowgill? Dude played one game for us in the outfield. Gone after that. Didn't see him again. Still wonder whatever happened to him. Oh, man. We'll see what happens. All I'm going to say is I want to have a good team this year. Build off of what we did last year. No excuse not to spend this year. You got some playoff revenue money to play with now. Not a lot, but it's there. I mean, last time we made the, remember that deep playoff run we made in 2016? That run got us Edwin Encarnacion. Maybe this playoff run can get us a guy like Christian Vasquez or JD Martinez. Not saying we have to sign every good free agent under the sun. Just sign like one or two decently good free agents that can help rejuvenate this team and get the fan base excited. If the Guardians go out there and they sign JD Martinez and they get a guy like Vasquez, maybe Chafin, if they do that and then they say we're done, I'm like, hey, let's go. We got it. We're lit. We don't have to do a damn thing now for the rest of the offseason. Maybe make a trade or two to clear up some space for the other incoming wave of youngsters. But in terms of marquee guys, I mean, if we just make some decent moves, it won't matter. We're good. They sign Jose Abreu. They sign a catcher like Zunino or Vasquez. That's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. What's up, Neo? But again, I'll be live tomorrow night for Cavs and Warriors. Hopefully the Cavs can snap out of this 2-game losing streak where they've looked kind of bad in both games. Then they get to finally come home to face the T-Wolves on, I think, Sunday? So, MLB offseason's here. Free agency is about 2 hours away. See if anything happens. Again, if there's any rumors that come out, I'll make a video on it. And if it's video worthy, of course. Like, imagine I freaking get off here and I see a rumor saying the Guardians are looking at getting Jose Abreu. Then I'm making a video on that immediately. But, yeah. We'll see if anything happens. I want to see if there's any movement today. But with that being said, I'm Crazy Dog. Let's go Guardians. And I will see you, if not the rest of today, I'll see you guys tomorrow night for Cavs and Warriors. Until then, go Guardians.